Last week, Governor Newsom signed a controversial bill into law. SB 145 lessens the penalties for adults having sex with minors by allowing minors to give consent. This basically means a 14-year-old would be allowed to consent to sex with a 25-year-old. And now a group working to combat sex trafficking is taking a stand on this new law and urging the governors and voters to take action. Joining us now to talk about it from the Saved in America Advisory Board, Stephanie Myers. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, for folks unfamiliar with our group, please tell me what Saved in America, the advisory board, does.
Of course. So we are part of the Saved in America Foundation. We're a 501(c)(3). Our organization is made up of active military, law enforcement, special forces, special operators, private investigators. We actually dig into technology and help locate and go retrieve your children. So it's more important now than anything to support law enforcement and our military, because we actually will locate your children and we will go retrieve them for you.
And SB 145 definitely grabbed the attention of your board. I've been covering it for weeks. In fact, your board wrote a letter to Governor Newsom about this new bill he signed. Yeah, I've read the letter. Can you share with us why you decided that this was important enough to write a letter about, and what did the letter say?
Of course. So what people need to understand is SB 145, that's going to lead to more exploitation of children. That's going to include more predators. But prior to this, if you were a sexual predator, you had to actually register as a sex offender. With SB 145, we're not going to have the accountability or way to figure out who our predators are now. So it's going to lead to more exploitation. It's going to lead to more trafficking of children, which then gears up to more children that are trafficked, especially we're a border state. This is going the wrong way. This is completely going the wrong way. Part of our letter, which is here and it's online as well, is if you have to be 18 to serve in the military, if you can't have your first alcoholic beverage at 21, how in the world are you able to have sex, any sexual act with an adult? Keep in mind, children, when they are trafficked, they are lured. They're vulnerable. The children that are trafficked are minors. It's very important to understand, with coronavirus crimes on the rise and with technology and the way these traffickers are luring our children, they are lured away from their homes because they're being groomed by these traffickers. A minor child does not understand those sexual acts. They don't understand that these folks are predators. Especially in our county, it's very important. Not only are we a border state, over $810 million a year is funneled through our county on sex trafficking. We are number 2. It's on the rise. SB 145 goes 100% backwards. We need to take care of our children and we need to do something about it. This is not good for our community, our state. Thankfully, we have a presidential administration who is combating human trafficking and is calling it modern-day slavery.
Yeah, SB 145 definitely weakens the war as far as on law enforcement side against sex trafficking. Let's talk about how bad sex trafficking is in California. Where do we rank as far as being the worst, the best? I mean, where we stand up?
Right now, we're number 2. And what people have to understand now with the coronavirus and children are at home more than anything, they're on the phone, they're on iPads, they're playing games, they're being homeschooled. Well, how do you think these predators are going to reach out to your children? So here's some key facts that's very important to know. 1 in 7 children with a smartphone receive a sext by the age of 10 years old. I always try to educate parents. Always know what apps are on your children's phones, know their passwords, and again, speak to your children. Speak to your children that there are predators out there. Another thing is 1 in 5 kids have been sexually solicited online. Our predators know how to find you. Once again, SB 145 is going in the wrong direction because now it's a technology type of predator. There's folks on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, even dating apps. You don't have to get trafficked because you're a child. It goes all the way up to 60 years old is a lady that we know to have been trafficked. But again, we need to make sure that we stay focused and we know exactly what your children are doing, who they're talking to, where they're going. A lot of times, children are trafficked through their friends. We need to have stricter penalties, stricter laws. Fortunately, thank goodness, President Trump and his administration is focusing on that. We are leading the world in human trafficking because it's not just in the United States, it's worldwide. He signed an executive order back in January calling it modern day slavery. He's having our Justice Department provide grants, $35 million worth of grants for safe housing for organizations that we all support, because once you retrieve a child, where do they go from there? Again, they've been mentally and sexually broken down, that we have to ensure that we can take care of our children.
Aside from the Congress member in San Francisco who wrote and put SB 145 on the books, I've yet to hear anybody in support of it. We've gotten flooded with viewer emails. I see quite a bit of chatter on social media as well. How did something like this get passed when, again, you make a great point? How can a minor give consent when a minor can't even be drafted, drink alcohol, for that matter, 18 and 21 are those litmus tests, and yet a 14-year-old is allowed to consent to sex with a 25-year-old, courtesy of SB 145?
Oh, great question. Well, there's a variety of different organizations that see it differently. You've got lobbyists, you've got the swamp, pay to play type of situations. And unfortunately, they won that cause. And it's shocking. That's why it's so important to get involved locally. Get involved. Know who your representation is in your communities. Because all of a sudden, this was signed late into Friday, and now we're sitting with this situation. Now is the time we need more organizations like Saved in America to step up to the plate to ensure for the safety of the children. I always tell everyone, always get involved in your community. Know who your senators and your congressmen are. Know who's representing your community. Keep in mind, not everyone has the good of our families in their hands and hearts, because people are lobbying for their own hidden agenda. Unfortunately, our leadership, our governor has his own hidden agenda. That's a whole nother discussion. He's not looking out for our families. He's not looking out for our children. In fact, he's literally children over to the predators. Again, when coronavirus hit and they started releasing prisoners who also are our predators and traffickers, of course, more children went missing. Ironic, our crimes are on the rise. He doesn't have our good intentions at heart. And unfortunately, he's all about his political career than he is about his own morals and values.
It's really hard to figure out where the hidden agenda could be with allowing a minor to consent to sex with an adult.
Exactly.
But I'll continue to try and figure that one out really quickly. Have you gotten a response from the governor on your letter?
We have not.
We
have not. But I can tell you, we are working closely with our senators, our congressmen. We are working internationally with attorney generals and with the presidential administration and their key advisors, because we will do this until our last breath to save everyone's children.
And this is a call to action to everybody else. If you don't support this, contact your folks that are voting for it or against it up in Sacramento. Stephanie, I'd like to stay in contact with you, because if you do hear anything back from the governor, I'd really enjoy to hear what the logic was behind this. I think our viewers would as well. All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.